Hey everyone, welcome back to Misandry Today, the weekly show where we talk about issues that are relevant to men. This week we have Coach Eli as our guest, and we're going to change it up just a little bit. I'm going to do a little bit of basically rambling a bit. I want to make sure the stream is coming through and make sure that everybody can hear me okay. So in the chat, if you can go ahead and sound off and let me know that if my volume is acceptable, that would be fantastic. No, there's no game on the Sunday show. This is a talk show. So I just want to make sure that everybody is here. All right. So it looks like True King Gamori has come back and said that he can hear everything okay. That's fantastic. Give me just a second here. All right. So welcome back. Just as kind of a touch base, as sort of a housekeeping sort of thing. If you have questions, we do a Q&A session at the end of the conversation. And if you are on a desktop machine, or you are on, I think it's, and Nemo, you can correct me if I'm wrong here because I see you in the chat. It's a desktop or Twitch TV. You'll see the Bukkake choke slams that will eventually appear on your screen on the right-hand side, and that will allow you to redeem those to ask questions, which will be logged, and then those questions will be addressed one by one. Now, if you don't have, you're not on desktop or you're not on Twitch TV, if you're on Roku or you're on a mobile device, then what you want to do is you want to put a question in caps and brackets, address who the question is to, and then obviously type out your question. Now, if you have to do it that way because you're in the chat, the thing that I would ask is that you try to refrain from multi-part questions because I want to make sure that all the questions can be addressed. Now, I will say this. Okay, so it says, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of a delay on your end, Coach Eli. So Coach Eli is our guest today, but we're going to change it up a little bit. I'll be honest with you, I got a little bit jealous because TFM has Kat as his Q&A guy. And, Kat does a phenomenal job. He's a fantastic production manager. He contributes amazing things to the show, and he does a lot of the heavy lifting. Now, obviously, I'm traditionally kind of a one-man sort of program here. However, I decided that I needed to have somebody field my Q&A. So I decided that after some conversation, after some conversation, I was going to have a Q&A person, not necessarily a production manager, but somebody to kind of field the questions to make things a little bit easier for me, because I've noticed that in some of the chat, I've been kind of focused on switching my attention, and I want to be able to focus on my guest, and I want to be able to focus on just kind of responding to the chat as opposed to focused on the questions. So today I've got Lyli Even 32. She's going to be my question and answer thought, so she'll be asking your questions for you. Lyli, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi guys. I don't know if I need much more introduction than that. You just said it all.
All right. So there you go. So she's going to be the Q&A thought, and she'll help out with the questions, the Q&A piece. Obviously, she's Australian and female, so don't expect her to be perfect. And yes, helicopter Lyli. So I have to say, I was, so for those people who didn't see the stream last night or didn't see the post-stream show, we had the TFM show on Saturday, and then afterwards, Lyli and I did a gaming stream. So Lily's been wanting to learn to stream on Twitch, video game stream, but she doesn't actually know how to play any video games. So we were talking, and she was like, "Look, I want to learn how to play games and this and that." And I was like, "Well, I'll be able to help you out there, but I want to stream what we do because I think that it will be educational for my audience." So if you saw the stream yesterday, clearly Lyli can't fly helicopters. So
hey, I did pretty well. You bailed on me, just left the helicopter. I made an executive decision to do what I could at the time.
which of course was to crash. And you did a phenomenal job of that. So if you guys haven't seen that, it's a fucking hilarious little video. And the funny part about it is for those people who play, and she can't drive trucks either. And
I can drive them very well directly into rocks, okay, and over cliffs. It's
Yeah,
fabulous.
yeah. And there was a part where she actually drove the truck into a lake. I tried to grab that on this thing, but it didn't record. So, but what was funny is that instead of spawning near me when she died, she actually spawned like 10.5 kilometers away on the other side of the map. I'm like, really? So even Wildlands hates her. So this is why you should never have diversity hires in not only the Australian Defence Force, but in any other military operation, unless they're like secretaries or comfort women or something like that. So, but Lily was a good sport about it. So thank you, Lily.
Anytime.
I expect there to be a little bit more entertainment value from some of the gaming streams, of course, at your expense. And I'm confident in your ability to do that. Yeah. So with that said, with that out of the way, welcome everybody to the stream. I've got Coach Eli here. So Eli, introduce yourself for the people who don't know.
Hey, DDJ, first of all, thank you very much for having me on your show. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here. Great stream so far, and I've watched lots of your stuff, and I'm going to continue doing it and sharing it, man. Everything is awesome. So you want me to mention a little bit about myself, such as my background and, where I come from, where the hell did this Coach Eli guy come from?
Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, give us a little bit of a biography. Tell us who you are, where you come from. I don't know, what kind of bulls have fucked your women, that shit like that. Just the nitty gritty.
Oh shit, man, we could be here all week. But anyway, I'll give you the synopsis of it. So basically, I'm a child of two Greek immigrants that came here to the U.S. From Greece about 48 years ago. I'm 44 years old now. And, my parents decided to put me through private school my entire life, even though I wanted to go to public school to be with my friends that I played Little League Baseball and AYSO soccer with, and, all those, Little League type of things.
So with private school, since your parents were Greek, was that a Catholic school?
It was. Even though I'm Greek Orthodox, I went to private Catholic school my entire life. It was rather interesting.
All right. So in other words, you made close friendships with priests and such. Is that what I'm hearing?
I make friends with everybody, but yeah, when you put it that way, sure. I make friends with everybody. I'm civil with everybody. Yes.
Okay, fair enough. All right, go on.
Yeah, I know where you're going, man. I got you. It's
okay.
all good.
All right. I get it. I'm just, you said you were in the Bay Area, so I figured if you're hitting for the other team, I get it.
Dude, I know we've been nicknamed Soy Valley out here, and we'll get into that a little bit later on, man. I don't want to get too far into it now, but yeah, I'm in Soy Valley. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. So, all right. So basically, as far as your professional life is concerned, did you end up going to college? I mean, what's your professional background?
So, I went to community college for 2 years, and what I was going to do, I was going to become an electrical engineer. I was going to go to Cal Poly, but I got caught up in the retail management, and retail corporate game. Started making what I thought was really good money back in my younger days, in my early 20s. I started working when I was 15 and a half in high school. Because I went to a private high school here in the Bay Area. It's a well-known private high school that many famous athletes came out of, such as Tom Brady, Barry Bonds. I went to Sarah High School in San Mateo, so it's like a college preparatory. Started learning good work ethics, going to that type of environment, or being a part of that environment at Sarah. I started learning good work ethics, and again, started working in retail and retail management, started making what I thought was decent money, and got caught up in the corporate game for the first 16 years of my life. So that's what happened the first 16 years. And you want me to continue and let you know what happened?
Well, let me ask you this. Okay, so obviously it sounds like you've had a bunch of public speaking experience, and I know we talked a little bit about that in the beginning of the stream, but I noticed that like you do a lot of streams that are 3 and 4 hours long, and you do presentations. Like I've seen some streams where you've done a presentation where you just, you pull the ripcord and you start running your mouth, and it's pretty articulate for the most part. I mean, there's not a lot of ums and ahs and things that you would normally expect from a YouTuber. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't necessarily agree with all the shit that comes out of your mouth. But at the same token, it's very clear that you have public speaking experience. So can you kind of go into that a little bit about your presentation experience and kind of that leadership experience? Because it's very clear to me that you've had some.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I'm trying to get up to doing 8-hour streams, such as Howard Dare does all the time. Everyone gets pissed off at me when I cut mine off at 4 hours. So I appreciate that. When I was in retail management at a store level, this was my first experience with public speaking. We had a major meeting. I think I was working for Office Max or Office Depot at the time, one of those companies. And we had a major meeting with the VPs coming to visit, and it was at some hotel, and we all had to do a presentation on our shows. And I was an assistant manager. My store manager wanted me to do the presentation. And I will tell you, man, I was young. I was in my 20s. I was scared shitless. Whenever you do public speaking or presenting for the first time, especially in front of, big shots and stuff like that, you're freaking out. But, I did it. I got up. I was well prepared. Had some notes, and I followed my notes just to keep me on point. I didn't read them word for word. You don't want to do that as a public speaker or a presenter, but have them there to keep you on track. And, gave a good presentation, and everybody was just happy about it afterwards. From that point on, it started building my confidence, but it didn't really come into play more so until I left the corporate world, and then I became an entrepreneur, a self-employed entrepreneur. So I'll stop there and see what you got to say so far about that, DDJ.
All right. Yeah. No, I appreciate that, and I appreciate the feedback. I'm trying to get a feel for who you are, and above and beyond the persona that you put forth online. And I would say this: I think that 8-hour streams are retarded. I honestly think 4-hour streams, for the most part, are retarded. Now, TFM does a good job of that. I would say that he's the exception. And I've done 5 and 6 hour streams with him, sometimes on a weekly basis, pardon me. But again, it's because it's not just TFM. It's not just me. It's TFM, it's Kat, it's me, it's the guests, it's the interaction with the audience. It keeps it fresh. It keeps us motivated, and it keeps us from, kind of shutting down. And even so, with the 5-hour streams, I mean, obviously it takes a lot to set that up, just because of the format that we use, and it takes a lot to go through with it, and it takes a lot to do the post on it as well, because TFM works extremely hard on that, and he does a really good job as far as that's concerned, in my opinion. Especially because, when you're 3 hours into a stream, as well as I do that your mental acuity can go, you can be more fatigued, you can let shit slide that normally wouldn't, and then kind of go from there. Hey, Taz and MGTOW, by the way, I want to make some shout-outs real quick. Plumber, good looking out. Grizzly, nice to see you. NYC, Korean MGTOW, good looking out, welcome. MGTOW Monger, Charles F. Gray, all you guys, shout-outs. Just want to make sure that there's a lot of love there. If you guys don't know, Plumber is a fantastic resource for men, as far as red pill knowledge, Duluth model, stuff like that. Plumber was an ex-cop. He's been on the TFM show, and he's a good friend of mine. So just, want to shout out to him as well. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And then with that, let's kind of jump right back in. So now you said that you were in the retail game for a while. When you got out of retail, you said you became an entrepreneur. Talk about what you did there.
Well, it was an interesting story why I left retail. You remember back in 2008 when shit started to crash, DDJ?
Yeah, the housing market. Yeah, it was a 2007 housing crash.
So what happens before that time, it was building up years before 2008, where the retail world started getting hit and sales were dipping, because before that time, everybody had a ton of money and everybody's blowing money on this and that and everything. You know what I mean? So sales started to go down, and a lot of us got laid off, or were offered jobs with lower pay and stuff. It was really crazy what was happening.
Well, so, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but let's not put too fine a point on it. You were in retail. You're in the service industry, an industry that's traditionally low skill. You didn't have a bachelor's degree or anything at that point. So yeah, I mean, anybody in retail, anybody in service industry, when times get tough, you guys are the first people to go. And you see this right now with the job crash where, across the country, women are losing their shit. because this whole fight for a higher minimum wage has destroyed jobs. It's created innovations in automation, and it's disproportionately affected a lot of women. And no disrespect, but obviously some cucks as well. So I could see where you might have a problem with that. So you decided to you lost your job. Did you like go on unemployment, or how to talk about that transition to being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I had plenty of savings in the bank because I've always been good at saving money. But yes, at the same time, yes, I did file for unemployment. You're going to do what you're going to do at that point to survive. And I had about, I'd say close to 2 years worth of savings where I could, live not like a king, but a decent lifestyle with the way the Bay Area was back then with the rental market and the cost of living is what I'm trying to say. So I ended up, going back to school. I got my insurance licenses, and I became a property and casualty and life and health agent, which I'm still currently active. I'm still licensed, but I'm not actively selling anymore. I'm just, maintaining my current clients because I have residual income when
now, do you have are you a broker then, or are you just an agent?
Well, I hang my license with a brokerage, but the property and casualty and life and health licenses, you can be your own broker if you want to be. But it's kind of a pain in the ass to set up appointments with all the carriers. So basically when you hang your license with another company that already has these agreements or appointments, as they call them in the insurance industry, with these insurance companies, it's all set for you. Basically, you just give them a little bit out of your commission, and then they basically take care of the rest for you.
Right. Yeah, I'm actually familiar with that, and it's also very similar in like the mortgage industry as well. But I've got a few friends that work in insurance, so I totally get that. And obviously, you're considered self-employed at that point.
Correct.
So now I know one of the things you talk about on your channel is like this whole thing about how you've had like real life networking experience as an entrepreneur. Go into that a little bit.
So what ended up happening was, I got my licenses, and then in order to, start making money, you have to network, and you need to put yourself out there and meet people, shake hands, kiss babies. So what I did was I joined the San Jose Chamber of Commerce, which is San Jose is an hour south of San Francisco. For those of you that don't know the area, the San Jose Chamber of Commerce is the largest chamber in California and the third largest chamber in the country. And even though I live in a town called Redwood City, California, which is 30 minutes north of San Jose, I wanted to go to the biggest chamber. I wanted to tackle the biggest market. I wanted to, spread my seeds out there as best as possible, and met a lot of great people. And then after I started networking at the San Jose Chamber of Commerce, I really enjoyed the networking aspect to the point of where I started my own networking organization that expanded all over Northern California. And I ended up, running my own things, and I had the public speaking experience, and I ended up, helping more people get over their fears of public speaking while teaching them how to run their own business as well. So that's kind of how I did it there. I mean, the story, there's a lot to discuss on it. I just kind of want to focus in on exactly what you want to know, because if we don't, then I'll be here all week. We'll be here all week if I share the whole story.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm confident that I can shut you the fuck up, so it's fine. I get it.
Sounds good to me. I need
so
that.
speak. Yeah, I know. I've watched your videos. So here's the thing. Like, let's go ahead and switch gears a little bit since you brought something up. You talk about spreading your seed a little bit. Talk about your blue pill days. Do you have children? Were you ever married, divorced, that kind of thing? What's up with that?
So I've never been married. Don't have any children. And I've had, prior to the relationship I'm in right now, which I'm sure we'll get into that, no problem. I've had 4 serious relationships. They were long term, and I've like I said, I've never had any children of my own. Not because I didn't want children, because they just weren't the right people to have children with. And I wanted to do things the right way, the traditional way, get married and have kids. But, just my relationships didn't get to that point. I just always felt like I have great instinct, even in relationships. And I know when something feels wrong, and I try to get out of anything that feels wrong before it gets in too deep. just like these guys are getting into marriages. And the next thing you know, they lose half their shit. I've always been worried about that, even during my blue pill days. But do you want me to focus specifically on when I was a blue pill simp, white knight, cuck, mangina, and maybe people still think I am. But do you want me to kind of focus on that a little bit?
Well, I think, yeah. I mean, obviously, when I guess my question for you is that, and we'll kind of dial it in here a little bit.
Yeah.
When did you start breaking out of the blue pill conditioning, or what you thought was blue pill conditioning? And when did you start seeing like a woman's hypergamous nature? Because it's very clear to me that you see the red pill truths, even though you are not red pill yourself. And
correct.
I'm wondering, what were the catalysts? What was the horror story? I mean, did you come home and find your chick fucking another dude, or were you just turbo friend zoned all your career? I mean, talk about this, what the catalyst, whatever the defining experience was.
Yeah, it was after my second relationship, and this was it ended like in my mid 20s. I think I was 26, 27 at the time, or so, around there. Those were my blue pill days, in my opinion. I obviously didn't know what the blue pill was back then, but looking back at it now and comparing to the pill knowledge that we all have today through the MGTOW community, that's what it was. So what I ended up doing was I ended up doing something stupid. I ended up paying off my my girlfriend, or I was actually engaged to her, but I ended up paying off all of her credit cards, and it put me in debt about $15,000. And back then, still a lot of money today, but back then it was even more money.
What year are we talking?
Back, we are talking. This was like 95, 96, 97. I can't remember exactly. We are
before 2000.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking basically the equivalent of like $30,000 today, or $40,000 today.
Yes.
Okay,
exactly.
So she financially cucked you hard. Okay, go on.
Dude, it was kind of like getting divorce raped without ever being married.
Right.
That's how much of a fucking blue pill simp, cuck, white knight, mangina I was. I admit it. Plain and simple. And that right there, because basically after that, she didn't want to be with me anymore. I mean, I don't know what ended up happening. She ended up leaving me, and the relationship ended.
Well, she monkey branched you. She used you for what you needed to be used for. And once she got what she needed out of you, she was ready to move on to the next dick.
That's what she probably did. I never looked too closely to it at that time. I was really hurt, and I was stupid and dumb and naive. But I will tell you something. What ended up happening to me at that point was, for 1 year, I was like, fuck women, fuck this. I'm never dating again. I was fucking red pill without knowing it. I went through a red pill rage. That's the moment where the red pill rage came in. And after a year, I was like, you know what? Fuck. I like the company of a woman, and I still want to date. But now I'm going to date with the awareness of what can happen to me, and not do the stupid shit of paying off her credit card like I did back then. So that was a defining moment for me right there, DDJ, that, if we look at it according to the pills today, I went from blue pill to red pill to the non-existent purple pill, or we'll say rainbow pill. We'll get more into that later on, man. I'm looking forward to
I want to interject something here. Plumber says in the chat, he says, Eli, you were a starter boyfriend. Thank God you weren't a starter husband like I was. So just a little feedback from Plumber.
Do you mind if I mention something about that? The thing is, dude, fuck yeah, dude. Because I honestly, here's the thing. She took me for $15,000, and I told my family about it. My brother wanted to hunt her down, and I said, dude, it's not worth it, dude. It's a learning lesson. I learned my lesson because it was only $15,000. It could have been $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 down the road. So it was. I learned. I sucked it up. And I learned a life lesson that most men don't learn until it's too late. So I had that red pill moment before getting married, and it made me aware of what I'm up against out there, the bullshit I'm up against. But go ahead.
Yeah, and just to put that in context for the people that are out there, my first divorce, like the post-divorce fight, the divorce itself wasn't that bad. The divorce probably cost me about $15,000 or $20,000 in attorney fees. But The post-divorce action was a 5-year fight, and that action by itself was almost $200,000. Now, that doesn't include the social damage that my reputation took. It doesn't include, the times that I was falsely arrested. It doesn't include the lost revenue. And if you include all that lost revenue that I had based on what I was making at that point, my first divorce probably cost about $300,000 or $400,000 all told. So, because again, you have time loss on investments. You've got all these other, different hidden elements that are there, plus, the emotional damage and everything else. So, when I talk to people and I say, look, you should be going MGTOW, I say that because I was red pilled the hard way. And I get where you're coming from. And I think every man they have a defining moment where they're like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done being used. I'm done being a utility. And, there it is. And yeah, there's a lot of red pill rage that comes along with that. So I totally get that as far as that's concerned. Now, obviously, you wanted to be with a female. I know you've got like a significant other now. So talk about that relationship a little bit. I know that like you sometimes share a residence with her.
Well, we have our own places, but I hang out at her place, some of the time. So here's what happened. Last year, I was in a relationship with someone that I thought was going to be my soulmate. We had a great relationship, and next thing you know, she ended up cheating on me, and monkey branched to another guy. I'm like, fuck. I mean, I've had enough experience. I had enough experience at that point to understand these things happen, but I just wasn't thinking it was going to happen to me again, and was hoping it wasn't going to happen to me again. And it did. So I was going through another rage at that point. I'm like, fuck, man. Do I just withdraw completely from women? Do I just go out there and pump and dump like you guys say nowadays? I mean, what? Because that's not who I really am, And so I said, fuck it. I'm not going to let this bitch. And I don't mean to be offensive. I'm a little bit, putting myself back in that moment, DDJ. So pardon my language. But I'm not gonna let this bitch ruin my life.
Just so you know too, that kind of apology that you're giving, that's why people think you're a cuck. Anyway, go on.
I'm just being respectful to you.
Don't
man.
Don't worry about it. You're not going to offend me with vulgarity. Trust me, I can get way more offensive than where we're at right now. So I'm not thin-skinned. You speak your mind and speak with the language that you feel comfortable with.
Well, then I will. When I'm on somebody's show for the first time, it's like, I want to respect their house, but I appreciate that. So, I was really angry. I was really pissed off at this bitch. I was in a rage, and for about a month or so, I just kind of like, I would do when I'm pissed off, I get into my car and I just drive around. And I don't drive around like in a rage. I just drive around cranking up music and stuff and just getting my mind off of things, because I don't want to be around people to bring them down with me. I kind of handle that myself. And then after that month period, I decided to put myself online because, I like the company of a woman, and I didn't want to sit there and let what happened in the past, ruin my future. And I'll tell you honestly, I mentioned this story to my lady Dana and to other people as well. I went on 20 dates, DDJ, before I met Dana. I went on 20 dates, and I heard every excuse known to mankind regarding women. A lot of these women are so caught up in the corporate world. They're working 14-hour days, and then they have a 1-hour commute each way to and from their job. And then they say they want to date a man, but what time do they have to date a man when they're working their life away? See, I was getting a bunch of crap, and I was about to just say, fuck it, I'm going to give up. I'm just going to fucking go monk per se, like you guys call it in the red pill arena. And then I met Dana, and she just made it simple. She made it really simple. We met. We had instant chemistry. She doesn't expect anything from me. I don't expect anything from her. Things just flow. And to this day, we've been together for almost a year. There haven't been any issues. Do we have our moments? Yeah. I mean, you can have the nicest woman in the world per se. And she's still a woman. She still has emotions, and she's still, going to have her normal needs in the way she was made to be. But I'm understanding and aware of that. But besides that, there hasn't been anything abnormal about this, at least not yet. But what else do you have for me before I continue, man? Because I feel like I'm going on a...
No, you're good. You're good. I just wanted to kind of get, like I said, I wanted a sense of who you were. I wanted a sense of kind of what your background is, and yeah, of course, you ran your mouth a little bit. So I appreciate you trying to rein that in.
Yeah,
I will say this though. So let's go ahead and move on. You created a YouTube channel, your Coach Eli channel. Why did you create that channel? How long have you had it? Talk about that a little bit.
Well, what a lot of people don't know about me, and if people go to my website, and if it's okay to mention that DDJ, I'll send them there so they can learn more
shill
about
away.
me.
Shill away. That's why I'm asking you.
I'm not even
shill
trying
away.
to do that. It's just you go to coach.eliasmills.com/about Coach Eli. I think it's the about section, or just go there and click on the about section. And I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. I just want people to know who I am. You know, I wrote my entire experience out there, and I'm going to briefly share that. But I've had a lot of I've been through a lot of personal development. And in all honesty, I never in my younger days, I never believed in personal development. Once I became an entrepreneur, I really started to see, you know, how important it is. And I got hooked on a lot of Tony Robbins material. I got hooked on the movie The Secret. I'm sure you've seen the movie and read the book The Secret, DDJ.
I have. And, you know, it's interesting you bring up Tony Robbins, because for a lot of people out there, especially people who are relatively new to Red Pill and are relatively, you know, basically they're coming out of the Red Pill rage and they're kind of looking for direction. They're looking for personal development. A lot of MGTOW, at least the MGTOW I associate with, they're real big on personal development. They're really big on, you know, being the best person that they could be individually. And for those that don't know, Tony Robbins is fantastic as far as his motivation is concerned. Same thing with like Zig Ziglar and a lot of people like that. And basically they help people find direction in life, but they also help people manage their lives in a way that makes their time more efficient and makes it more productive. So, yeah. So I guess Coach Eli, just to kind of cut you off a little bit. So you have
Sure.
how long has your YouTube channel been up?
It's been up since March of this year, so it's been about almost 9 months or so. We're getting maybe 10 months. We're getting close to a year. 10 months.
All right. And how often do you either create videos or stream?
About 5 to 6 times a week.
Okay. So you're streaming a lot. You're talking to people a lot, and you have a call-in show, right? Like people can call in and kind of chat with you and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I do 3 shows. One of them is with Charles F. Gray, who's in your chat right now. A great gentleman that I met through, he lives in Canada, and I met while searching for some MGTOW information on Big John, and he did a video, and that's how I found him. So we do the Purple Pill show on Tuesdays.
Yeah, at least you didn't find him on an online dating site, so that's good. Good looking out, Charles.
No, dude, that is definitely good. I don't go that way. Sorry, man. I have no problem with people that want to go that way. I love everybody, but it's not for me. But go ahead.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So, yeah. So, okay. So you've got your live show, this and that. Now you have some experience with like the MGTOW community, and I don't know much about you, but it sounds like at some point you considered yourself MGTOW. It sounds like you've had some back and forth with some of the people in the MGTOW community. So I guess my question is that why do you consider yourself Purple Pill, and why do you not consider yourself Red Pill? And more importantly, why don't you consider yourself Blue Pill?
Those are some great. Man, I was waiting for the bullets to start coming, man, and now they're coming. I'm ready, man. Oh man!
Just so you guys know, apparently Coach Eli likes it in the face. So here we go. Go on.
I like it. Yeah. I'm like MGTOW Mind. Never mind. I'm not going to go there. MGTOW Mindframe does something I won't mention here. But anyway, so I guess I should mention how I found out about MGTOW and lead into it, and I'll get to the point as quickly as possible. So after I started my channel, this gentleman named Randall Lyon,
give me a second. Give me a second there, Eli. I wanted to kind of jump in here. I apologize.
Sure.
For those people who are new to the stream, for those people that have just joined in who may not understand, we're going to have a Q&A session at the end of this where you can ask myself or Coach Eli questions. If you're on PC or you are on Twitch TV, you can redeem the Bukkake Choke Slams. You'll see in green text that'll float on the right-hand side of your screen up. Click that, choose the little box on the corner. It says redeem. You can ask a question there. That question will be logged, and then during the Q&A session, Lyli will field that question for you and ask us so that we can get your questions addressed. Now, if you're on a mobile device And I think that Roku, it says you can actually watch Roku, but you can't actually ask questions. But if you're on a mobile device, you can put in brackets during the Q&A session the question in caps and brackets, direct who the question is to, and then ask your question. And then I will say this. If your question is a potato question, if you're a booger-eating moron, or, you know, I don't know, maybe you didn't breastfeed enough as a child and you just need attention, we're probably not going to answer your question, but you need to understand that there's a really good possibility I'm going to call you out by name, and share with the chat how retarded you actually are. So I just want to make sure that, you know, there's no confusion there. But yeah, with that in mind, so you met some guy, some MGTOW guy. Who was it again?
So this gentleman, he's a real guy, but, you know, a lot of people troll around. You know, he was trolling around for a bit. Haven't heard from him in a while. His name is Randall Lyon. He's like, you should really check out this MGTOW community and check out Sandman. And I went over to Sandman's channel and I wasn't really that impressed, to be honest with you. And I kind of put MGTOW on the back burner for about a month or so. And so I started just, you know, doing my own thing again, creating my fundamental series of videos. And I learned a lot of stuff, you know, just experiencing it through life experiences, as I mentioned earlier on the show. But I also was following Coach Corey. You've heard of Coach Corey Wayne, right, DDJ?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, Coach Corey Wayne, I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not, but if you haven't,
no, I'm not. I haven't heard of him.
So Coach Corey Wayne, he's been around for a while, and he shares some great fundamental principles on female nature. And he pretty much, you know, nailed everything in my opinion. So I started doing more videos in a similar way as he does them, because I believed in his message, and it was my message as well. And then I just started to realize that, you know, nobody's really looking at this stuff, and I'm wondering where is everybody? Why aren't people finding who I am? You know, so at that point, I was told by other people that, you know, everybody is on this MGTOW thing. It's the biggest thing happening right now. You should get involved with it and see if you can contribute to it, because you have some good stuff. I was told this by people. So my intention, I know where the questions are going to go, and that's fine. My intention was never to misuse the MGTOW name. I just thought, you know what? I thought it was blue, purple, and red. And I consider myself purple pill because I've been a blue pill simp. I've gone through a red pill rage, like I mentioned earlier on in your show, and now I'm continuing to date with the awareness of the red pill. So I thought purple pill was considered MGTOW. So what did I do? Here's where I fucked up. You want to hear where I fucked up, DDJ? I'm going to admit it live on your show.
All right.
Okay. Here's where I fucked up. I was on a trip with my lady Dana to Mount Shasta, beautiful area here in Northern California. First time I've been there. And this is about a month and a half ago, almost 2 months ago. It was before Thanksgiving. And I wanted to create this thing called the Church of MGTOW. With no disrespect to MGTOW, I just wanted to do something because I thought purple pill was a part of MGTOW. I thought part of, you know, going your own way is choosing whether you want to participate or not, you know, especially if you're aware of the matrix, right? So I did this video.
So basically what you're saying is you went full retard.
Now I realize it. At that point,
right.
I honestly didn't even realize what I thought. I just wanted to help. My intentions were, you know what, this is where the manosphere is at. I want to participate and help men and help prevent men, and even help women as well, learn more about male-female nature, so that way we can get along better and not fuck each other over, you know?
All right. So you made this Church of MGTOW out there.
Well, I put a video out on the Church of MGTOW. That's as far as it went, but you want to hear the response to it very briefly?
Yeah, I do. Because I'm sure it was entertaining.
Yeah, DDJ. Sorry to interrupt, man. I'm very passionate about this shit, man. I'm very passionate about it. So I was doing a live stream, and then this guy named MGTOW Mindframe, who I didn't know who the fuck this guy was at that point. His name is JB Gunner. A lot of love, JB. Congratulations on your 1,000 subs. I'm not trying to plug you on JB's or on DJ's show, but, you know, I want to pay my respect to somebody that I initially have an issue with.
No, I get it. And obviously you like it in the face, so you can go on.
And he likes to give it in the face, so it all works out, DDJ.
There you
so
go.
Thank
there
you.
you go.
I can take it like a good boy, man. All right.
Good to
It's
know.
all good, man.
Good to know. Just make sure you don't gag or anything like that, and I'm sure JB will be fine.
No, I know, man, and I plan on getting cucked, so it's all good, guys. Guys, I love getting cucked, so give it to me good. But anyway, so oh God,
Jesus Christ.
Oh, dude,
oh God. I just, I'm trying not to fuck with you. And holy shit. Go on.
Okay. So what happened with MGTOW Mind Frame, he came on one of my streams and he's like, "Who the fuck are you, man? Let's go live one-on-one on my show and let's just go toe to toe." And Mindframe had commented on my Church of MGTOW video. He talked a lot of shit, like 3 long comments, paragraph style. And I said, that's fine. I'll meet you on your stream. You have your opinion. I have mine. I'll come on there and share about myself, So he put me on his stream for 30 minutes. I answered all of his questions. I shared what my intentions were, kind of like I'm sharing with you. And for the most part, it went really well. And then Mindframe did a post-game show after that saying, "How do you think the Coach Eli interview went?" And Mindframe was like, "Well, I tried to shut him down. But he just kept answering the questions, and he was calm, and he was just, taking my criticism." And I learned from it, DDJ, that the honest truth, I learned a lot from MGTOW Mindframe on what MGTOW really is and what it really means. Because before I thought I knew what it was, and nobody took the time to share what it really was, such as JB. And that's why I've learned to respect him. So this whole thing that the Church of MGTOW created and this Cuck of the Year, and now I lost the Cuck of the Year award to Misanthropic Altrust. It's all been in good fun. But in all honesty, man, I've learned more about what real MGTOW really is. So I thank you guys for that.
So gentlemen, I just want to put this out there, gentlemen. So basically what we have is Coach Eli giving props out to JB Gunner, MGTOW Mindframe, for cucking him and for being his bull. There you go.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, DDJ, I have no problem admitting my faults. I learn as I go along just because I've had a lot of experience.
I get it. I'm fucking with you because you're thin-skinned. It's fine. It's fine.
And we've only just begun.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, I'm usually gentle in the beginning, but it's only in the beginning. Now you know. So switching gears from MGTOW Mindframe, I noticed you've made some MGTOW videos back and forth. Obviously, you're ignorant and didn't know what the fuck you were talking about. You educated yourself along the way. You've really tried to figure that out. And I noticed that you've made some videos about MGTOW in general recently in December. You made a couple of them. You want to talk about those videos and kind of, what the subjects of those videos were and kind of who you were addressing and who you weren't, that type of thing?
Yeah. Now, this is going to get quite touchy, and if you have to cut me off, it's your show, but I'm just going to be myself and say it as it is.
Yeah, so, listen. Just so you know, I'm not worried about it. I want you to feel like you can express yourself, and obviously, if I feel like you're stepping out of line, well, you should know me well enough that I'm going to say that. I'm going to step up and say that. So do what you got to do.
Okay, so everyone knows who Chris Cantu is. He is the red pill on steroids. And he makes he clearly states that at the beginning of every video. So, I started following Chris many months ago. And many months ago,
you weren't masturbating or anything to him, were you?
Oh no, dude! Fuck no.
Okay, just making sure.
I did
Go
mention,
on.
Listen, I did mention that he is a decent looking guy, but I don't go that way. I give people props, but I know you're fucking with me. But the bottom line is, I did mention that he's a good looking guy, but I was not masturbating to Chris Cantu.
And you wouldn't let your woman fuck him, like while you're sitting in the corner masturbating or watching? That's not a thing.
I don't think my woman would want to fuck him because she doesn't like his attitude. She's actually here, like she's on her phone, kind of listening to what I'm saying in the background. I don't know are you listening to the show? No, she's not listening to the show. She'll watch the replay. But no, she wouldn't fuck Chris Cantu. We've already talked about that.
That's actually funny that you talked about it.
Dude, we talked about, listen, DJ, I'm open with her because here's the thing. I want Dana to accept me for who I am and everything that comes with me and this whole coaching business and all that. You know what I mean, right?
I do. It's fucking hilarious. Anyway, so Chris Cantu, you made some videos about him. Talk about that.
So, so basically, I started following Chris. I saw that video where he went on a 26-minute, crying rampage. I saw that video when it was first released. I think it was September. And I didn't think too much about it. I'm like, this guy, you know, I don't know. He's grown in popularity, but I don't know if I can trust a man that's like crying on the camera for that long. I'm looking for somebody that has more emotional strength. So I kind of put him on the back burner. Next thing you know, Cantu subscriber base all of a sudden blows up like to 8,000, now 9,000 subs. So I started following him more closely. I'm like, okay, I want to get to know this guy. He's probably doing something right. And I went on one of his streams and immediately he blocked me. He blocked me. I was saying, hey guys, how you doing? And he's like, block that Coach Eli. Apparently he was listening to what Mindframe was saying. And without even giving me a chance to get to know me, he blocked me from his channel. So that kind of threw me off. And it made me do a little more digging. Okay, and this is where it might get a little crazier, but I'm just going to come out and say it. And if I
no, I get it. You were feeling the spurned girlfriend. I get it. Go on.
Yeah. Well, let's go with that. That sounds good, DDJ. So anyway, I started looking. I started watching some of his videos. And, you know, I started, you know, looking at his expressions. I started reading what he posts, what he puts below in the description section of his videos. And I started noticing that the guy shares a lot of affiliate links. And he talks a lot about this red pill cryptocurrency shit. And, you know, I wanted to kind of reach out to him to talk to him about it and learn more about it. And he just ignored me. You know, I tried to send him a private message, and I guess apparently that must be blocked as well. You know, I tried many ways to reach Chris, and he blocked me. So at that point, you know, I said, fuck it, I'm going to do a video. I tried to take the nice approach first. You know, I saw the interview he did with Jerry Lou. Did you get a chance to watch that one, DDJ, with Jerry Lou and Chris?
No, you have to understand that for those people who don't know, I do 2 live streams of TFM every week. I do this live show. I try to create a little bit of content. In addition to that, I'm writing a book. I'm researching for a book. I help take care of my grandchildren, and I still have a teenage son at home. So my time is very busy and my time is very limited. So it's not like I'm egotistical or elitist and being like, oh, that's not good enough for me to pay attention to. It's that there's only so many hours in a day, and I have to prioritize what's important.
I totally agree. I'm going to give you the synopsis very briefly because it makes sense in the question you asked. So I watched that stream, and then I created a video taking the nice approach first. I said, you know, Chris Cantu and Jerry Lou, we are more alike than you think. I was trying to be nice about it, trying to, you know, give him a chance because I really want to respect the guy. You know, and I also at the same time, I've been trying to reach out to Jerry Lou, and Jerry Lou said, you know, he wanted to do an interview, and I followed up on that, and I haven't heard back from him either. So, you know, when I didn't hear any response, you know, from Chris on that video, I started watching more of his videos, and he just started talking a bunch of shit about me. And he started calling me rainbow pill and, you know, purple pill is rainbow pill. And then I did something that I feel changed everything.
Hold on for a second. So you'd been following him. You had made some comments critical of him, and he had you blocked, but he wouldn't talk to you directly. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't even make any critical comments. I was just commenting to reach out to him in general, just to try to, you know, get to know him. And he blocked me. He didn't give me a chance. And then he started talking shit about me and did not give me a chance to respond to him at all.
All right. So basically what you're saying then, if I understand, just to kind of shut you down a little bit, because you've been talking a long time.
Yeah, I know that.
What I'm understanding you saying is that you had some comments about Chris Cantu. You were concerned about him. And just for those people who didn't see it, there was a video that Coach Eli did about the Jerry Lou, Chris Cantu thing. Where and I don't want to miss words here. I think you called him a shill. You said, look, he's shilling all this stuff, and he's you were concerned that he's not credible, and you were very concerned that his video where he was crying back in September, that it made him look like he was weak. It made him look like he was a simp and unattractive to women when he made that video, or at least in response to that video. And you were obviously looking for some sort of feedback. You were looking for some sort of direct communication. And rather than communicate with you directly, he was just publicly defaming you. Is that a fair recantation of what happened?
Yes. And DDJ, very briefly, 30 seconds, and I'll turn it back to you. I did an impromptu Christmas Day live stream on my channel. That is going down in history because even MGTOW Mindframe and some other content creators kind of dissected that and put their synopsis version of it out there. I went out there and I said, you know what? I remember Eminem. You remember Eminem, right?
I do.
I just went out there and said, you know what? Here, tell these people something they know about me. I listed everything. This is who I am. I am white. I am a fucking bum. I do live in a trailer. I don't live in a trailer with my mom, but I'm saying my story is similar to the Eminem story where it's like, look, I'm going to come out and tell you guys how I am, including you, Chris Cantu. And you know what? Here, you know what? Tell these people something they know about me. But, at the same time, don't avoid me. Don't be a pussy and avoid me. There you go. I said it, man. Sorry. Back to you.
No, that's fine. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from, and obviously, you're rather verbose, and so I'm trying to, keep this stream under 4 hours, and obviously be able to share the information. So, I noticed that, yeah, you were concerned that he was a shill. You were concerned that he wasn't sincere. Why did you take those positions? And again, if you can, just kind of cut right to the point and be brief.
So why did I make, let's just be clear. Why did I make those accusations?
Yeah. Right? What was your basis? Yeah. What was your basis? What are the facts that you believe support your position that, Chris Cantu is a shill, or that, or the other criticisms you've leveled at him?
I ran networking events for over 6 years, DDJ, and I attended other events for an additional 4 years. And I saw what was happening in person with these network marketing scams. I think what Chris Cantu is doing is doing a network marketing scam with this red pill cryptocurrency. He said he has 70 people beneath him, and every time they put in money, it flows up all the way up to him. He is the leader of this. Actually, I think it's Angry MGTOW is the leader, but I think right below Angry MGTOW, who's no longer on YouTube, Chris Cantu is right below that. So I think it is a scam, and I know it is a scam because of what I've seen in the real world with similar opportunities. He's exposing MGTOW. He's using the MGTOW label to sell his shit. He's selling Cialis. He's selling all this affiliate shit. It's like, I thought you're supposed to red pill people, and you're selling Cialis. That doesn't make sense to me. There you go.
Well, I mean, if you're fucking other people's wives, I mean, eventually, your dick doesn't get erect as you need to. You got to rest. At least so I've heard. I'm a neck-bearded virgin living in my mom's basement, so I wouldn't know. But
you're killing me, man. God dang it, man.
So I'm not a hater. But yeah, I get it. And so now, as far as like this whole thing, you so basically, if I understand what you're saying is that you believe that this red pill coin thing is a multi-level marketing scam. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. Go ahead. Yes.
Do you? Well, I guess my question for you is it what do you know about cryptocurrency? What do you know about the red pill coin? What makes you come to these conclusions other than accusations? And the reason I'm asking that is because I've streamed with Chris. I streamed with him on the TFM show. I've streamed with him. I did a show with him where I was on his Christmas special, and then in addition to that, he was on my New Year's Eve special with MGTOW 101 and some pretty prominent people. So. And again, I'm trying to give you kind of, let's just say, an open check to state your argument with the understanding that if I think you're full of shit, I'm going to come down on you. So, and more importantly, I'm not necessarily doing this for drama marketing, but if what you say is true, then I think the MGTOW community needs to know about it. I think that they need to address it because there are questions. I mean, I've seen the video from Marcus, and I actually did some homework myself, and so I have some questions, and I don't think that necessarily that my questions are okay to address here. Maybe I'll do another video about it or something, but I want to make sure that you have a full airing because it's interesting that, I mean, no disrespect to you, or at least not too much disrespect to you. You're a cuck, right? You're a cuck. You're the butt of everybody's MGTOW jokes. And before anybody else was actually publicly talking about this, you had actually seen it. and you are actually trying to address it. And it sounds like you believe that you're acting in good faith, because no disrespect, but you don't sound smart enough to be deceptive. So, you want to make sure that, and that's why I'm trying to give you this full airing, because I want you to make sure that I want to make sure that you understand that, where we're at here, because now we are at the precipice, and we are at a point of no return here. So you're big on accusation.
Yeah.
You're big on conclusion. What evidence do you have to support your views? What are you pointing to? What are the things? What do you think? I mean, to be specific, what are the things that you see from Chris Cantu that make you believe that he's a shill, that make you believe that he's on top of or near the top of some multi-level marketing scam? What are the things? What are the facts that you have that support your claim?
Here's where it starts off, and I'm going to try to keep this 2 to 3 minutes max. I want to give you a synopsis of it. Going back to that video Chris Cantu put out when he was living out of his car after he lost his job here in the Bay Area where I live, and now he's nicknamed the Bay Area Soy Valley. I feel honestly that the Bay Area swallowed him up. It starts here. I think when he mentioned Summer that he responded to some email and his female boss, didn't like it or some shit like that, and ended up, they ended up firing him. I think what happened to Chris Cantu is he said something in that email that was considered sexual harassment, and he probably got fired for that. There's no way someone's going to get fired immediately for something minor. You need to write someone up 3 times and document it. That's just the way it works in the corporate world. So he was bullshitting right there off the bat to save his face. Now he's living out of his Jeep. And now he puts out this video where he's crying like a whiny little bitch or a whiny big bitch, from his car. And then he was stating in the video that, I don't know if I'm going to put this out or not. Bullshit, dude. You knew you were going to put it out and exploit yourself and exploit your emotional, trauma amongst other men that are in a similar position. And you're going to try to get them to buy into you based off that bullshit so you can sell them anything and everything known to mankind. And that's what I think ended up happening there. It stemmed off of that video. From a marketing standpoint, it was ingenious, DDJ. But in all honesty, you want to know why I think it is a scam?
Yes, I do.
After all, everything I mentioned.
Yeah.
Looking into it and what I've heard from other people, I don't know a whole lot about cryptocurrency, but what I do know it's not backed by anything. And then there's supposed to be some type of there's an IPO, which is ICO, initial coin offering, and there's supposed to be some kind of paper attached to it to share some information. I can't remember what that's called, and that's not available there.
Let me kind of step in here. So
Sure.
I don't have a whole lot of knowledge on cryptocurrency. So basically the idea of cryptocurrency is that it's one of those things that it's a fiat currency like any other currency that's out there, but it's backed by something. So if you have a product or you have a service, that cryptocurrency is backed. Now TFM, he believes it's based on smoke, and while I agree with him that it is that is not an investment, like it's not a traditional investment, like a security or a stock or things like that. It definitely is a currency, and it's definitely, it has its uses. And I know we talked about it last night on the TFM show a little bit about some of the legitimate uses for Bitcoin. And for those people who don't know, Marcus, who is the groundwork for the metaphysics of MGTOW, he actually did a video recently where he said that the red pill coin is a scam. And his belief of it being a scam is because when he read the white paper didn't say what was backing the red pill coin and what the value was based on. In other words, there was nothing other than smoke that the value was based on. Now that could be, and again, to be fair to everybody, that could have just been an editorial oversight. There could be some product or service or something that puts value behind it. I don't know. And I did follow up with the Marcus video. I did read the 21-page report, and I also did some in-depth study, at least, from a cramming perspective, to try to understand cryptocurrency and to try to bring myself up to speed. I've talked to some people who were experts in the field, and and it seems like Marcus actually has some legitimate concerns, and obviously I've not heard anything back. I don't know who is at the top of the whole red pill coin thing. From the stuff I found, it looks like Chris Cantu is the red pill coin president. It's not Angry MGTOW based on the website. But again, I don't know. And I'm trying to figure out where that's at. So basically, it sounds to me like you believe that because of the video, you believe that his September video was marketing manipulation and trying to use goodwill to grow his subs, and you think that because he's shilling Cialis and doing the affiliate links that's an issue. And then, of course, the red pill coin on top of that. And then, obviously, you think that let's just call it his origin story, for lack of a better term, you believe it's bullshit. Is that fair?
I wouldn't go as far and say I believe it's bullshit. I believe there's some truth to his story. I think he's just exploiting it above and beyond what it is, because he couldn't hack it here in the Soy Valley Bay Area. He got run out of the Bay Area, and he's just trying to make up for his losses and make something out of it. Let me ask you something, DDJ, if that's okay, regarding the same thing. I mean, I watched your stream last week that you did with Chris Cantu, and I believe it was MGTOW Expat and MGTOW 101, right?
Right.
Okay. And I was waiting for the Q&A session of that. It was a great interview. You even asked Cantu at the end after cucking me, which was great. I appreciate you cucking me, DDJ. I love you, man. like a brotherly love, man. But you asked Chris Cantu, you laid it out to him. You gave him an open forum to say what he has to say, and he talked a bunch of nonsense. He avoided your question. Then all of a sudden, when you were about to go to Q&A, all of a sudden the internet connection in Thailand no longer works. Holy shit, man. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. Again, I'm trying to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I like Chris Cantu. He's treated me with nothing but respect. He was in Cambodia, just to clarify. And Cambodia, yeah, and their internet connection was dog shit. I mean, we disconnected half a dozen times throughout the interview. So I totally get that. The other thing is that, and which I'm not surprised about, is we caught them on the evening of New Year's Eve, or the next day or New Year's or whatever, at like 1 a.m. I know they'd been drinking because I talked with them before the stream started. So, maybe they weren't entirely sober. Maybe they were drunk, and when the stream fell off, they just decided to wander out into the street. Who the fuck knows? I mean, I've been drunk before. I totally get that. So I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt as far as that piece of it is concerned. But I take your point. I mean, I definitely take your point. And one of the things that I get concerned about is that one of the reasons I'm paying attention to this, and it's not because I'm trying to drama market, it's not because I'm trying to pit you against Chris Cantu, or I'm trying to kick anybody on the bus because of personality issues, but one of the things that struck me about your views is that I haven't heard anything come out of your mouth that would indicate that you have anything other than questions for his credibility, because it sounds like you don't have any personal issues with him. You don't have any personality issues with him, other than you're concerned that he's not addressing some of the concerns you have, which, I mean, obviously he's got a larger subscription base than you, and he's going to bring a little bit more attention to your channel in having this. And I understand that the side effect of that is that me talking about it is going to give you additional attention and potentially some subs, depending. I get all that. To me, that's irrelevant. But what struck me is that it sounds like you have legitimate concerns that he is acting unethically. And so that's what I'm trying to challenge you on. And it sounds like, I mean, at some level, it sounds like that's kind of where you're at. You think that he's unethical. You think he's a shill. And you think that he's hurting the MGTOW community, even though you clearly are not MGTOW. And
correct.
And you clearly aren't red pill. And let me kind of tangent off that a little bit. So there are people out there that are red pill, that are dating, that are married, that are in relationships, that are committed, cohabitating, and with women. They're not MGTOW. But MGTOW's like Denny's. You don't go to Denny's, you end up at Denny's. And for those people who don't know, Denny's is like a 24-hour sort of thing. So you know where everybody else is closed and go from there. So I guess that's the crux of where, as far as that piece of it is concerned. So with that in mind, what is your opinion on how Chris Cantu should respond if he was above board, and what is your message for people who are concerned about Chris Cantu?
Here's the only thing I want from Chris Cantu is to face me man to man. and talk about this and allow me to ask him some questions. He can ask me questions. We can do it on his, thing. We can do it on my thing, or we can go to Mindframe stream, or, who knows? Maybe it'd be something. Would you be open to doing something like that here, DDJ, down the road? Or, I mean, you let me know, because all I want to do is talk to him one-on-one, man-to-man, and not, hide behind, the camera or in front of the camera. I think he's hiding in plain sight. So that's all I really want. In all honesty, I have no beef with Chris Cantu. I do not want to dislike the guy. I don't dislike him.
Well, clearly, you and your wife were talking about fucking him. I mean, obviously, there's something there.
Well, girlfriend, you can call her my wife. I know you guys
Whatever.
are thinking I'm going to wife her down the road, but she's my girlfriend, and we've talked about that. And who knows, man? Who knows where it's going to go? But
I don't want to know
where it's at.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
I know
it's
you
fine.
don't.
Fair enough.
But
all right, well, let's do this. I don't want to cut you off too much, but obviously, I want to make sure the stream moves along as well. So I think at this point, I think we've done a pretty good presentation of kind of who you are, what your positions are, what your views on MGTOW are. Obviously, you've got some issues with Chris Cantu. It sounds like you used to have some issues with MGTOW Mindframe, but it sounds like those are mostly settled. Based on my chat, as I look through my chat, it's very clear that some of the guys in the chat disagree with your assessment. I think it's a point where we can do this whole man-to-man thing and open it up for questions. So with that in mind, for everybody in the chat, if you are on a computer desktop, if you are on Twitch TV, feel free to redeem your Bukkake Chokeslams when you see the little box appear on the lower right-hand side of your screen, and ask any questions that you want to ask of me or of the guest. And then if you are on a mobile device, go ahead and feel free to put question in brackets in the chat and who the question is directed to, myself or Eli, and ask your question away. So let's go ahead and open it up for questions now, and let's see kind of where things go. Lily, do we have any questions in the Streamlab that need to be addressed?
We have one, but it's kind of off topic. Do you want me to go ahead anyway?
Yeah, might as well. What the hell?
All right, it's from... I apologize if I pronounced the last word incorrectly. True King, Germany, I assume.
Grimoire.
Sounds like Germany. Alright, he says, despite being a computer science major, you have inspired me to want to pursue my bar card or at least become a paralegal. Do you think this is a good move, and do you think it's possible to become a part-time lawyer, especially when MGTOW?
Absolutely, I do. I think that most attorneys, so if you can actually go to law school and not incur a lot of debt, then your smart move once you get out of law school is to actually start your own firm. However, there's a lot of elements, and obviously Eli can agree with me here because he's an entrepreneur. There's a lot of self-employment elements that are important, but you also want to make sure you have what's called a trust fund account or an IOLTA account, and you want to make sure that you're financially responsible as far as that's concerned. Because if your accounting is bad, they will take your bar card faster than you can say, I'm an attorney. But most attorneys do start out part-time. But the nice thing about being a self-employed attorney is you don't have to work full-time to make full-time money, because the money is ridiculous. I mean, even as a paralegal, I was supporting a family of 6, and I didn't have to put in full-time hours all the time, because I was making plenty of money as a contract paralegal, because again, I was self-employed, and I could command the wage I wanted to make within reason. And in some cases, I was making within $20 per hour of what attorneys make, just because of the nature of experience that I had. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a great idea. I think that you should also diversify what kind of law you're going to go into. If you can go into tax law, if you can go into a couple other types of law, that's great. Family law is a good background. Family law will teach you litigation, as will criminal law. So those are good options to consider when you're looking at the legal field. Just make sure that the one thing you want to remember, though, is when you graduate law school, make sure you know your local court rules, make sure you know your court procedure, and make sure you know your local statutes, and that you have a good idea of how to do discovery and how to read case law. If you learn those skills will help you become a successful attorney. If you don't learn those skills, then you're just going to end up being retarded. So do we have any other questions?
There's a follow-up question to that question you just asked by the same person. He's just asked, so would being a software developer and a lawyer at the same time be possible?
Yes, and a lot of attorneys do that. And obviously, as a software developer, you're going to have more responsibility on your plate because a lot of those software development jobs, at least the full-time jobs, are contract positions. So there's hourly requirements. But if your tech employer is open to working with your schedule so that you can make court appearances and things like that, usually that's not a problem. Do we have any questions in the chat there, Lily? That you've seen?
I haven't seen any go through the chat, but we do have a couple more. So
I see a question in the chat, and I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm following the chat, and I see a question in there for you, DDJ. Do you want to check out the chat, Lily?
Is that the Halo Man 1345? Go for it.
Yes. All right. So Halo Man numbers. DDJ, if feminism never existed, would the family court system still be justice-based?
Yes, it would, because the family court, as far as divorce law is concerned, it would still be based on contract law, which is what it was created to be in the first place. Obviously, there's some common law elements of it as well, but it would definitely be more equitable.
Okay. We have one for Eli. March 3 DD says, Eli, how do you feel about gun control and the Second Amendment? I think that's pretty unrelated, but you guys can.
You know what? That question, if you want me to answer it, I will. But that has no relation to this subject here. Why
go ahead and answer it. Yeah, go ahead. They can take shots at you. It's fine. Go ahead. Answer the question.
You know, it's a touchy subject. I know how YouTube is responding to it. In my opinion, you know, if you are emotionally stable enough to be able to carry a gun, that's fine. But how are we going to know that? You know, I mean, they'll give gun permits to pretty much anybody nowadays. So I don't, honestly, I don't really know what to think about it. I think, you know, people should have the right to, you know, decide if they want to, you know, carry a gun or not, but they need to take the proper, you know, steps of legalizing it. You know, that's it. You know, don't hold guns unless you have a permit for it. That's it.
Okay.
All right.
DDJ, we got a question for you.
Okay.
Will your next book be a follow-on to the TFL something? I don't know what that. Or something completely different. So basically, I think they would like to know what your next book content will be.
Oh, my next book content is going to be basically discussing divorce rape, and it's going to be kind of an overview of how fucked the family court system is, as well as a guide for men to navigate through that family court system in a more effective way.
Fair enough. I'm looking forward to it.
Perfect. I'm going to jump into chat here. I see there's a couple of questions in the chat here I want to grab as well. Here's Piece of Office 5 says, my blue pill friend is going to move in with his girlfriend, and she has $150,000 in student debt. What information should I give him to dissuade him from moving in? Ask him if he wants to be responsible for that debt. I mean, I think that's the important piece. The other thing I would say is that, you know, as MGTOW, don't cohabitate and don't marry anybody. You know, and if you're concerned for your friend, have him check out my video about avoiding marriage is not enough. It talks about the concerns about domestic violence, and it's not just limited to the United States. It's limited to the first world. So there is that there. I'm going to go ahead and jump into another question here. There's a few of them here in the chat. Do you see the one from Rachel Gould, Lily?
I do. I was actually going to do them.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway.
Well, the reason you want to do these questions first is because on the chat is because when they scroll up, we lose them and they don't come back.
I got them. Don't worry.
All right, go for it.
All right, so I'll go with that one. Question for you, DDJ. In all respect, why are you so for Cantu? I understand that Eli has all the attributes of a cuck, but a cuck can be right regarding seeing the red pill coin as a sham. So I think he thinks that you disagree with Eli on that.
It's just so you guys understand, and for those people who know me, I'm trying to weigh the evidence. I'm trying to come to a conclusion myself. You know, I have a lot of respect for Marcus. I have a lot of respect for a lot of people in the MGTOW community, and a lot of the concerns that he raised give me pause. It's not that I'm for Cantu. It's that I don't know Cantu to be. Let's put it this way: my personal interactions with Chris Cantu have not been negative. And so I'm still assessing the situation, and I'm challenging Eli because I want to make sure that he can back his positions with evidence. Now, I think that for the most part, if everything that Eli says is true, then yeah, then Cantu's a shill, and Cantu's a piece of shit, and he shouldn't be associated with MGTOW or anybody in the community. If what Eli says is true. If what Eli says is not true, well, then obviously we need to send Eli back to the cuck zone. So I'm still assessing that right now, you know, and but I want to make sure I have all the information before I take a stand. But I will say this. This is something that I'm going to have to take a stand on, because this is not something I could ignore. The MGTOW community has been very good to me. And, you know, one of the things that I really like about being a part of the TFM show and working with TFM and Kat is that when they disagree with me, they come to me directly. And whether it's publicly or privately, they don't care. They come to me directly, and we hash it out. And I think that, you know, MGTOW should not be a safe space. It should not be an echo chamber, and it shouldn't be a cult of personality if that's what, you know, certain people have it to be. And so I think that, you know, this idea that basically MGTOW are being potentially taken advantage of or potentially scammed by somebody, I think that's an important issue to address. And again, I'm going to look into it in detail. I'm going to look into it with a fine-tooth comb. This actually has my full attention. And for those of you who know me, you understand what that means. So, because you've seen me crucify people in two separate directions before, or, you know, multiple times. So you have to understand that whatever happens here, there definitely is going to be a response from me, because I think that it's something that's important to the community. Chris Cantu is an up and coming content producer. He's been on the internet for over 9 years. He's got almost 10,000 subs, and he's surrounded himself with other content producers to support not only his MGTOW brand, but to support some of the other endeavors he's doing. So whatever Chris Cantu does, even though he's not a very large channel, I mean, at the end, like I said, in the greater scheme of things, he's got less than 10,000 subs. So, you know, the reality is he like me, he's a nobody. But for the MGTOW community, because it's so small, he has a great deal of influence, and what he says has a great deal of influence across the community. So I think that it is something that is important to the community to address, with the understanding that it's important to keep the drama to a minimum. Stick with the facts, stick with the provable evidence, and keep the drama to the minimum and move on. So with that in mind, let's move to the next question.
All right, so there's another question for Eli. It's from Taz the MGTOW. I'm not even going to bother answering it because it looks like a potato question. Basically,
I see it. I see it here, but go ahead.
So as far as I'm aware, you do have kind of evidence. Like, you have researched this, haven't you, Eli?
Well, you mind if I read the question? Because I think I can answer it better. I do want to answer the gentleman's question, because I don't want to treat him like Cantu's treating me.
Yeah, here, let me ask you the question.
If
then.
you're certain, go ahead.
Yeah, the question is from Taz. Go ahead.
Yeah, Eli, do you know to make allegations against a man without proof is called slander, right? Because right now you sound like a baby back bitch. Okay.
First of all, Taz the MGTOW, I think I've seen you on YouTube running around. And here's what I want to say. I love everyone and respect everyone. But when you have these MGTOW or you know, YouTube trolls that have no content backing up their name, it's harder to validate certain things. But I'm still going to answer your question. You know, if I sound like a baby back bitch, then I do. But if I am proven to be right about this, and I can help one or two men, you know, save themselves from losing, you know, all of their shit, meaning all of their shackles or shekels. They're called shekels, but I fucked up and called them shackles, like the things you wear on your fucking feet when you're in jail, you know. Then I'm doing my part, you know. And if I am wrong, I stand corrected, and I will publicly apologize the very next day. If I am proven wrong, I will publicly apologize to DDJ, to Chris Cantu, to MGTOW Mind, from the whole community, and I will bow out, and I'll be gone. I'm not leaving because I want to leave, because I want to respect you guys. I want to respect your forum. That's all I've ever been here to do. You know, do I think it's slander? It's absolutely not slander. There's validity behind it. The guy is avoiding me. If the guy responded to me, then I would get off his ass. Plain and simple. Done.
All right, let's go to the next question.
So this one amuses me greatly. DDJ, it's for you. If my friend leaves the country to avoid paying child support, can that work?
It can, depending on which country he goes to, yes. So he's got to research it, and he's got to research the Hague Convention rules as far as that's concerned. I wouldn't personally endorse such a thing, but, you know, everybody has to make decisions for themselves. So yeah, technically, yes, a person could do that.
That's wonderful. Just jump ship, leave the country. Got it.
Yep.
Another question.
Pop smoke and get the fuck out.
Oh my goodness. All right, another question, same person. If feminism got 100% of the way with MGTOW gone, what do you think would happen to the world?
Say that again?
If feminism got 100% of their way with MGTOW gone, what do you think would happen to the world?
Oh, we're going to have a collapse.
I think it would naturally implode.
Yeah, it would. We're going to have a collapse. And honestly, I think that we're at kind of stage 4 cancer as it is right now. I mean, I agree with TFM. We're going to have some kind of collapse. And we're already seeing feminist policies turn to dog shit. If you really want to know what a feminist government looks like, look at Sweden. Sweden is a feminist government. They practice feminist policies left and right, and it is a complete shit show. And they have no-go zones. They're talking about deploying their military, which is, by the way, is too late. Sweden's fucked. No dinner, no movie, no consent. They're fucked. That's what's going to happen. Yep, exactly.
On the same note, DDJ, another one for you. Do you think that women in general will respond to the hashtag #MeToo backlash and MGTOW in a positive way?
Oh, yeah, I'm seeing that now. I was talking with, I think it was APOC and a few other people the other day. And, you know, the reality is that the #MeToo hashtag is imperial overreach 100%. And women are realizing that, holy shit, we can't just run out and make false allegations against people without any fucking evidence at all. And they're like, you know, because think about it, you know, you go out and I've been with a woman or two in my time, and, you know, every time they talk about their ex, it was, oh, he was abusive, or he was, you know, he was a horrible person, or he beat me, or whatever. And there's always some kind of bullshit victim narrative that these chicks have. And, you know, it's all bullshit. If you don't have a police report, if you haven't filed a police report and you weren't victimized as a child, in other words, if you're not a victim of child abuse and you don't have a police report, you're full of shit. I mean, because these women are accusing these men of crimes. These are crimes. It's not, you don't need to fucking call in a hotline or, you know, create a legal fund to protect these bitches. We already have a fucking system in place. It's called the criminal justice system. If you were abused, if you were raped, if you're a rape victim, if you're a sexual assault victim, you need to call the police. You need to work with the police. You need to work with law enforcement. You need to work with the prosecutor's office. And if you are legitimately a victim, then you need to push for prosecution. Criminal prosecution, put these people in bars and stop it. But if you decide that you're going to run around on social media and on the court of public opinion and just talk shit and destroy a man's life as a result of that, nobody should believe a fucking thing you said. And the problem is that feminism has destroyed the social contract between men and women, and they've done so wrongfully. And now you see, like I saw an article the other day in the Telegraph where a leading barrister, which is like an attorney in the UK, they had said, or a solicitor, they had said that we should not consider victims, rape victims, or sexual assault victims who report to the police. We should not just automatically assume that they're victims anymore. We should call them complainants until we can determine the veracity of their statements. Now, the reason that they're saying this is because they found evidence of criminal prosecutors who are going out of their way, and they are covering up exonerating evidence of innocence on these men, and they are witch hunting them in the criminal court in an effort to put them in prison wrongfully for crimes they didn't commit. This is a conspiracy. This is an actual conspiracy to discriminate against men, and it is in the public eye, and not a single person has covered this. This is misandry. This is exactly what it looks like. And so all of a sudden, everybody's like, shit, we've gone too far. And MGTOW, the stated MGTOW community is not very big. But the unstated MGTOW community is growing exponentially because nobody wants to be with a woman who's going to falsely accuse them of a crime because she's upset or because she got her fucking feelings hurt. They just don't want to put up with it. They don't want to put up with divorce rape. They don't want to put up with false domestic violence allegations. And they don't want to have any kind of thing that's fucked up there. Well, guess what? Women are waking up. I have women who contact me behind the scenes every fucking day since I started my channel. And they are basically saying, you know what? We're concerned about this, and we want relationships with men. We want a committed relationship with a man. But the men that are worth the commitment to don't want us. They're ghosting on us. They're pumping and dumping us. They are treating us like shit. And we are concerned. And the reality is that until feminism changes, that shit's going to continue. And it doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter if you're in the UK or if you're in Europe or you're in the United States or Canada or South America or Australia or even Southeast Asia. This shit's going to change as long as federal governments, the United States federal government, Canada, and all these other things, as long as they are giving foreign aid to feminism and the bullshit that's behind it, this shit will continue, and women will be miserable for it. And it's horrible. I mean, it's a shitty situation. And I tell people, yeah.
You're getting off topic.
No, I'm
You're
not.
rambling.
I am rambling, but it's important. I will say this though:
It's his show?
It's my show. Yeah, damn, be a good thought. Anyway, I'm just saying. I'm just saying that the thing is that as long as this shit continues, it's not going to change. So if these women and these people want this shit to stop, you have to eradicate feminism, because until you kill the cancer, you can't be cured. There, I'm done rambling.
Good boy. Nice wrap up.
Oh God.
While you're down there, keep talking.
Alright, we have Eli. We have a couple of questions for you. People are very interested in your relationship. So we have one person asking. It's kind of trolly, but I'm going to do it anyway.
It's all right.
You seriously let your girlfriend sleep with other dudes? Why?
I do not let my woman sleep with other dudes, and she doesn't let me sleep with other women, and we don't. That's just a troll response. It's like, look, I can't control what Dana's gonna do, and she can't control what I'm gonna do. So it's like, I don't think about that. Whatever's meant to be is meant to be. Okay. But I know there are more questions coming, and they'll be answered when they come. I've seen them, but I'm just waiting for them.
I'll say, yeah. So on the same note, another question for you, Eli. Do you see any dangers for yourself dating or cohabitating in California? If so, what protections do you have in place for yourself?
I absolutely see a ton of dangers. I understand completely where the red pill community is coming from. I understand what DDJ has been through. I've had friends out here in the Bay Area that have been through it. And let me tell you, losing half your shit out here in the Bay Area is even shittier than anywhere else. I'm not trying to say it's not as shitty elsewhere, but you lose your ass out here. So here's the thing. Dana and I are dating. I have my own place. She has her own place. Okay, at this point right now, there really is no risk. And another thing that I've mentioned, and I know this really doesn't, sit too well with most people, but her and I make similar money. So even if we were to get married, half of what we're each contributing is going to be the same thing. But I understand that if we have kids or something, then she could take me for child support or whatever. You never know what's going to happen. But here's the thing. I'm very well aware of what could potentially happen to me. And I'm going to totally, weigh out all my options and risks before I go further. Now, Dana's sitting here listening to me right now, and we've talked about this. So I'm going to do the best that I can. And I'll tell you, I'll mention one more thing here. DDJ, I'm mentioning this to you and your group first. You're going to hear it here first. If it does not work out between Dana and I will more than likely go monk. Because I'm at the point right now where if this shit's not going to work, I'm just going to live my life and just be a man and maybe, choke the chicken every now and then, per se. And you guys can cut that all you want. I'd love it. I'll choke the chicken and then that won't cost me shit.
Well, right? That explains your rooster crow in the beginning of your streams, so I get it.
Exactly. DDJ, God damn it. You know what? If I had my clapping sounds right now, I'd give you a fucking round of applause. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, DJ.
I will say this, though. California is a yes means yes state. And holy shit, what a fucking mood killer. Hey, can I touch you here? Hey, can I thrust now? Hey, can I do this? Fuck all that. Fuck all that. So anyway, let's do this. I want to take 5 more questions from the chat, and then let's do the Streamlabs questions, and then let's close the stream because it's getting up to be 2 hours, and I have some place to be at the 2-hour mark, and we've got about 19 minutes left. So we'll do 5. We'll do 5 more questions out of the chat, and then we'll go from there, regardless of whether or not they're trolly. Go for it, Lily.
I was outside, so I'm just going straight in order then.
Yeah, just straight in order. The next 5 questions.
All right, DDJ. If Sweden collapses, will all the quote-unquote people go to other countries and destroy them as well?
Yes, in fact, you're seeing a lot of that now. Feminism has been exported throughout Europe. You look at Germany. Germany's fucked. If you've been following my channel at all, you can see I did an interview with Elizabeth Hobson out of the UK. The UK is completely fucked. And the whole thing is just a complete shit show. So, Yeah, I mean, it's really bad, and they're trying to export their cancer everywhere. Next question.
Wow.
This one's an open invite, so I don't know if you want me to do it.
Yeah,
So
go
this
for
won't
it.
really ask a question. DDJ, open invite. Who would like to inform the senator of Florida, I assume that is, how much of a piece of shit he is to refuse assistance in writing a 50-50 custody bill after given at least 5 people plenty willing and happy to assist him?
I don't think it's going to help. I don't think that the shaming language with a politician is going to help. If you've read my book, one of the things I say in the back is that if you oppose feminist bigotry, you're not the opposition, you're the resistance. Feminism won. That's the reality. Feminism won, not just in the United States, it won everywhere that it's been adopted. So in order for these politicians to remain in office, they have to kowtow to feminists. If they don't, they have their lives destroyed. Feminism is a multi-billion-dollar industry in the United States alone. They have 140 plus super PACs dedicated to women's rights and feminist bullshit. There are over 4,000 charitable organizations related to feminism and women's rights. And that's not even including the League of Women Voters, National Organization of Women, or the other. I mean, it is literally, feminism is like the Imperial Empire from Star Wars. Next question.
Okay. All right. You sure we want to do the trolley ones?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Question for Eli. Eli, taking the sweet corn challenge.
Oh, do you know what the sweet corn challenge? Do you know what the sweet corn challenge is?
No, what the hell is the sweet corn challenge?
Okay, so here's the sweet corn challenge in a nutshell. Basically, what it is that you stick your dick in a can of sweet corn, and basically it's made to prep you for anal sex. In other words, would you do anal sex with Dana?
No, we do not do that, but everything else is on the table, and I don't know. I mean, we don't have a problem talking about our sex life, but I don't think you guys want to hear it all the time.
We really don't.
It's all good.
Yeah,
you really don't. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next question.
No, I would not do it. But go ahead.
All right.
All right. Only 2 more questions from the chat. Question, Eli. How can you even pretend to be MGTOW when you trust your woman that much? Why do you want to see the end of your story with her before deciding whether or not to go monk or marry?
Okay, so why do I pretend to be MGTOW when I'm not? First of all, I'm not pretending to be anything. I'm just being myself. I didn't even know what the hell MGTOW was, 6 months ago or 7 months ago or so. But I'm happy that I found out about it because I've met some amazing people. And regardless of whether it's MGTOW or not, or MRA or just normal people, you know what? We're all men and women. And you know what? Sometimes men and women are not going to get along. And that's what's happening here. We all are entitled to our opinion. Plus, MGTOW is not regulated. So, if somebody was going to regulate it, then you know what? We could either follow or not. But now MGTOW is just, hey, men going their own way. I'm going my way. I'm purple pill. I'm not labeling myself that, but that's how I technically am. But I'm not MGTOW. I've learned that. I'm not saying I'm MGTOW.
All right. Yeah. Next question.
All right. DDJ. What will cause the death of feminism, and how do we contribute?
I think the best way to contribute to feminism is for MGTOW to continue to do what they're doing. I think that women are terrified because, there's the 80-20 rule where I talk about, and TFM has talked about, where, women want to fuck and they want to be with the top 20% of tiered men, and the other 80% get ignored. But as the top 20% go MGTOW, women are going to lose their fucking minds because they're going to be like, holy shit, I can't create a family. I don't have a man to divorce rape. I don't have a man to monkey branch to. And you see this shit all the time. I mean, a woman will be like she'll be a 3 or a 4 or a 5, and then she'll put on makeup and she'll turn into an 8. She'll go out to the bar and she'll fuck a guy who's a 10. He's a high value man. And then she's like, well, I fucked this guy, so I should be, that's the kind of guy that I can pull in. So that's who I should expect. And they're very narcissistic about it. And they don't realize that on a good day, they're a pump and dump. And on a bad day, they're just completely ignored. And so as more men go MGTOW, as more men say, no, I'm refusing to commit, cohabitate, and marry, and as more men just decide that they're just going to pump and dump these women are going to lose their fucking minds, and they're going to have to they're going to have to be the ones who put a stop to feminism. And not only am I'm not the only person who takes this view. Jordan Peterson actually did an interview with Camille Pagula, who's a second wave feminist, and he even said the same thing. He said, men can't be the problem solvers for these women who are crazy and out there. It has to be women who step up and handle it. And I firmly agree with him. So the way we can help it, the fastest way we can help it, is to ghost. It's to ghost in plain sight. It's to avoid all the drama, and it is to just continue doing what we're doing. Passive resistance is going to be the best way forward, and it's going to be the way forward that causes the least amount of drama for every man involved. All right, let's go to the Streamlabs questions.
Okay.
The chat questions. So you guys know the chat questions are done, and that's just because I have a limited time today. But yeah, let's go to the and we'll do like the lightning round of the Streamlabs questions and move on. Just take them all in order.
Okay, this one's kind of interesting. Eli, do you believe MGTOW is the answer to current Western gynocentrism, or do you feel there's a better way?
I agree with what Big John has mentioned, and it's a start. MGTOW and MRA are a great start, but we need a lot more. We need to create a collective of men and fight feminism. Look, women did it. Men should do it too. It's not going to change unless we do something above and beyond. But MGTOW is a great start to educate men and make them aware of modern day feminism. Bottom line.
Okay.
All right. Darks Pax, your
DJ?
question has already been answered, so we're going to skip it, just FYI.
What one, sorry?
There was another question that was there. Go ahead. Next question.
Okay. DDJ, what do you think will happen with folks like Gloria Allred and her ilk?
I think if we bring enough attention to the shills like Gloria Allred and the people that are trying to pay these false rape accusers to falsely accuse successful men of sexual assault and rape and harassment, I think that those people will end up getting crucified. Like I said, women are starting to figure out that this Me Too bullshit is just that. It's bullshit and it's artificial. And as more women figure it out, women like Gloria Allred, they're the messengers and they're going to get crucified for it. So I don't think it's going to happen right away. But I mean, she's already taken some serious responsibility for it as far as the reputation loss. And there are people in the legal community and there are people on the national stage that are calling for her to be arrested. And frankly, I think they need to. They need to arrest her and they need to dismantle any organization that has given her money.
Okay. Next question is not addressed, but I'm just going to go ahead and assume it's for you, DDJ. 2015 and 17 saw uncontrolled expansion of the definition of rape and sexual assault to include normal flirting and such. Do you think the wave has crashed, or is there more idiocy coming?
There's more idiocy. Second wave feminists really popularized the idea of consensual sex being rape, including sex within a marriage. So we're seeing now where a lot of this flirting idea that was in direct response to the PUA community that happened in between like say 2003 and 2013, and it was basically targeting PUAs and it was targeting basically taking responsibility away from women for their responses to flirting and putting all that responsibility on men. So I think that while the retardation has gotten pretty severe, it's going to get worse, and we're seeing it in certain parts. Like men are still getting arrested for spreading their legs on public transit, and I think France has anti-catcalling statutes, and I want to say it's Nottinghamshire in England in the UK. They have laws against flirting, they're calling it misogyny, and they're saying that it's a hate crime. So the retardation is yet to come, and I don't think the United States has seen the worst of it yet. But there's a lot of countries out there where this is happening, and it's happening. It's a global push. So yeah, it's going to get worse in 2018, and I would even say it might even get worse in 2019.
Okay.
Wow.
Last question in the Streamlabs for Eli. You have a lot to say about how other men measure up to female standards as if this carries water. Is this an unconscious habit? Have you tried to reconcile this tendency with your own red pill knowledge?
I'm not really sure. Can you repeat that first part one more time? I'm trying to really understand what he's trying to say there.
Yeah, I didn't really get it either.
I'm trying to convince people like my way is the right way. Is that what he's saying?
He's saying that he's saying that basically you're speaking with authority, and that you believe that. And I'll repeat the question as well. It's you have a lot to say about how other men measure up to female standards as if this carries water. In other words, as if you're credible. Is this an unconscious habit? In other words, are you just speaking with a false sense of credibility? And the second half of that question is, have you tried to reconcile this tendency with your red pill knowledge?
Here's the thing. What I know has, I mean, I've learned about the red pill knowledge, but my philosophy's been the same as the red pill knowledge before I even knew MGTOW existed. So my whole thing is that, look, the problem we have in today's day and age is the fact that because of modern day feminism, men are acting more like women, and then women are acting more like men. The sexual polarity is flipped. And all I'm saying is that the reason why a lot of men are being taken advantage of is because they're acting like big fucking pussies and not men. I'm just being honest. We're trying to help people become stronger men, whether you're MGTOW or not. That's all I'm trying to do. And last thing before we go here, guys, is that I never tell people what to do. I share what I've learned based on my personal experiences and allow people to make an informed decision. I don't force anything on anyone. Thank you.
Okay. All right, guys. That's going to be the Q&A session, and I appreciate everybody tuning in. I will say this. Definitely reach out to me via email, reach out to me in the comments when I upload this video to YouTube. Give me your feedback as far as the new format for the stream is concerned. One of the reasons that I wanted to have somebody do my Q&A for me is so that I can focus on the stream and I can focus on the conversation more than I can focus on the questions in the Q&A. Again, because I've missed a lot of questions in the past. Obviously, this is a work in progress, and so I want to make sure that that's kind of squared away there. I also want to give a big shout out to Lone Wolf. I appreciate the help that you were in the chat as far as your being a mod is concerned. Thank you. And Helsing, I appreciate your help as well. Just so you guys know, the Twitch stream is a work in progress, so I will be doing some customization for like people who want to subscribe to me. They're going to get little customizations and emotes and things like that. We are working on that right now. We're also working on updating my website and possibly making a merchandising store in addition to that to have some things that are associated with the channel. So I wanted to thank everybody for tuning in. I understand that I'm kind of turning certain things. I'm kind of flipping things on its head a little bit. Obviously, it's my view that MGTOW should not be a safe space, and more importantly, it should not be an echo chamber. So you're going to find that this particular channel and this particular talk show is going to talk about things that are not traditionally talked about within the MGTOW community, at least in an open forum. So with that in mind, obviously there's areas where I disagree with Coach Eli. I think I did a pretty good job of kind of outlining what those things were. And I wanted to thank you, Coach Eli, for coming on the stream and for sharing your opinions. You've said some things that I think need to be looked at a little bit closer. And obviously, if there's a concern, I'm going to address that with you in a public forum, either in a follow-up video or a stream where I talk to you about it directly. And also with that in mind, I would say this, given the nature of some of the stuff that's happening, I think that, and again, and maybe I'm missing it, but I think that Chris Cantu really needs to address this issue with the red pill coin. I think there needs to be a statement that's made. I mean, he's the chief officer of the red pill coin thing on the website. He is the person who the buck stops with, so to speak. I think he needs to address the concerns Marcus has made. Marcus has a lot of respect in the MGTOW community, and Marcus has leveled some serious accusations as well. And I think just avoiding it, saying that it's a personality conflict when it's not, I think is, at best, on a good day, is irresponsible. So, Chris, if you're out there, I got a lot of respect for you, and I appreciate the value of the content you're trying to put out and the message that you're trying to work with. But at the same token, I think you need to address this. This is something that's important to the community. It has nothing to do with personality. It has nothing to do with being a hater. So, but with that, thank you everybody for tuning in. Eli, did you want to have anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, all I want to say is I want to thank you and Lily for having me here. I know it's your show, and I know a lot of people were asking, why Lily's here. Lily's gotten to know us, and she's actually a pretty cool person. We like to give her shit, but she's actually doing a good job. And,
don't cuck for Lily. She's my Q&A thought.
I get that. Yeah. Anyway, let me just thank DDJ. Let me thank you. It's been a great pleasure and honor to be on your show. I'm going to continue to get your message out. And when you get this replay, let me know. I will share the shit out of it. I'm going to send people to your channel because right now I can't trust YouTube that they're not going to give me a community guideline strike or copyright strike for uploading stuff. But I will send people to your channel. I'll do a video on that, and we'll keep this message going, man. Thank you. You're an amazing person. I thank you for having me again. Right on.
And just remember, while you're down there, lick behind my sack. All right,
Amen,
gentlemen.
Dude, I got your back, dude.
Right on. All right, guys. I appreciate it. Enjoyed the stream. I'm going to be doing some post-production, and I'll have the stream uploaded later today. Thanks again. And if you have suggestions of people that you want me to interview or people that you think that would be a good to have a one-on-one conversation with on my stream, definitely shoot me an email. misandry.happens@gmail.com. And, definitely shoot that out. And again, if you've got any feedback, definitely shoot that out there. And of course, I have my book in the upper right-hand corner. If you're interested in checking the book out and you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. If you've read the book and you've liked it and haven't or left an Amazon review, please do so. And then we'll just kind of go from there. So thank you again. I appreciate everybody going in there. Oh, and the one final thing I would say is this: I created a MGTOW Minds group on minds.com. So if you're interested in MGTOW knowledge, you're interested in MGTOW information, check it out. It's an alternate platform to Facebook, and it's more of a free speech platform. So check it out. There's a lot of engagement there. And then we'll go from there. Thanks again, and I hope you guys have a great day, and hope to talk to you soon.